182 public episode.
The Blink episode.
So actually, we got a new thing today that I'm just going to spring it on you guys.
Oh shit.
We're doing a Q&A.
Oh,
We have a question. Yeah. So we have a question submitted by one Mr. Jack Scalfani.
Okay.
And his question is, Biden won the primary? How? By write-ins. They must have been up all night writing.
Wow.
So my question is, how?
I'm Canadian. I don't know.
That's awesome. Yeah, in the New Hampshire primary where Biden won a write-in. I don't know why he wasn't on the ballot officially. Maybe they just didn't bother because he was going to win anyway. But who do you think votes in Democratic primaries? Who else would win?
They're not running anybody. So
yeah, you're going to have a majority of people that write in RFK? That's not going to happen. Or Dean Phillips or somebody. Of course, it's going to be 60% Biden. And also, he won. People are always amazed that he can win. That's why I'm not sure about 2024. Because the first time I thought, there's no way this guy's going to win. He clearly has dementia. His eyes exploding. But then every boomer is, entranced by him. They're like, oh, he's so competent. He's so competent. And he speaks so clearly. And he's so smart.
I knocked on doors. And people were like, most of the people that I talked to were like, well, I really like Elizabeth Warren, so and so and so. And then it was just like, well, Biden, he's been there the longest. So I think, and I was like, actually, no, but well, we can talk. Or Bernie did some of the.
Well, he's actually older than Biden.
I know. That's what I was like. Well,
if you like really old guys,
they're running these polls, and you're like, well, I'm just going to go with Biden because. I was just like, oh, thank you. Thank you for taking your time.
The majority of America has no idea how a candidate's picked to be the one of the two on the ballot. So they don't know what primaries are. They don't hear of any of these people that are in the race and drop out. They don't give a fuck who they are. Like the average voter.
But Jack isn't your average voter. I don't want to disrespect our Q&A guest.
Jack is wealthy in what we call free time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just can't freehand.
It's cool that he moved from California to Tennessee so he can be a red vote in a red state.
I think it's cool that he moved to fucking wheelchair.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, it helps him get around better.
Tamney.
Couple news hits. Vince did get the doll.
Mm-hmm.
I think we said last episode that he didn't get the doll because that came out an hour after we recorded, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was right during.
But he did get the doll. It's the same model as Amber, but it looks like a very tan white person. It's blue-eyed, very Caucasian features. Bigger tits.
Yeah.
Bigger tits than Amber.
Rocking some H's.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's from the same company, and he's face-apping it, and it seems like a return to form.
We're back.
It almost seems worse quality. Same company, but they just make it worse now.
Yeah, the fingers are so weird.
Yeah, I was about to say, the hands look like fishing bait now.
Amber's fingers weren't normal.
Yeah, I don't know.
He would move them, and they would just the fingernails and the tips were just creepy. But I can't imagine having those big boobs on that doll and just being like, oh, this is fun to move around. This is fun to do anything with.
He's gonna put his big, thick, girthy porn star cock between those big tits and fuck them.
I know he's going to, but they're just I'm just trying to imagine what they're made out of, because it's not all silicone, because they're trying to make it as cheaply as possible.
Yeah, it's
right?
a rock or water, maybe.
Yeah,
like a waterbed.
Paper mache.
Just trash, like they used to fill castles with.
As soon as Brad lays on it, it just crushes.
You have to tune in and ask him in chat. What's inside of those
let's
things?
go all into his chat. That's a great idea.
Yeah,
but
comedians.
I mean, man, he is. I was watching some of his older videos yesterday on stream, and it's just so jarring to see how far he's fallen.
Mm-hmm.
He's always just acted like a child. I mean, he was wrestling dolls in his backyard. There was him and his 4 friends were all in one car driving to go see a movie. And they're just acting like you would act at 16. The one friend brought a lightsaber into the car and was just hitting the driver and was like, oh, I'm going to pay you with this for gas. And was completely serious. And the driver got real mad. And they're 28 at this time. Let me be clear. And they're just saying all these things, walking up to the theater, just yelling, running around, jumping on each other's backs, and just being teenagers again, but 28 years old.
Juggalos,
but
man.
that was more. They weren't juggalos. They were more mature because they didn't become a juggalo until.
Oh yeah, it's just juggalo behavior.
in terms of their sense of responsibility and respect for the community.
yeah.
Messing up the toy aisle as an adult, that's just juggalo behavior. That's all.
That's exactly what they would do. Like they walked around Walmart for a bit and then went into the parking lot where they were like acting drunk and they were just like spilling Mountain Dew on each other. Their one friend just like rode his bike home and like they just followed him along the way. It was so odd.
Yeah.
And it just, but like, again, that felt more normal and more like an upstanding citizen than where he's at now, despite the fact that like he lives in an apartment by himself, has like a job and his little fake degree. But you compare his life then where he has 4 friends to hang out with that he doesn't have to go pick up. At least one of them has a car and not a sex doll wife. It's like he's just fallen so far and he can't come back from it.
It's interesting the way guys like that grow up, especially rural white guys, like rednecks. I grew up with a lot of guys like that. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of them, they basically stay 13 until they're forced to not be 13. Like they get a girl pregnant and then have to like put away their 4-wheeler and shit. But a lot of those guys, like, I guess it's like a common trope. Like the guy, his wife makes him take down like the beer signs and like the posters of tits in the living room and stuff, and they don't get like, why can't I have a poster of tits in the living room? Why can't I have shit be like Cole Campbell? The game over, guess the fun's over. And it's like, man, like how did that guy make it to that point without being like domesticated or coming to the conclusion that like maybe I should be a little classy, like Wolf of Wall Street, like graduate to that stage. Like I don't have swag. I want class. I want like a cool wine glass and maybe a watch.
Yeah, you graduate from drinking like 20 Coors Lights to drinking like a bunch of cheap whiskey and smoking a cigar inside.
I think it's cool because like Vince type guys, the ones that just stay like mentally 11 years old, that is what I would want at 11. If I'm like imagining being older, I'm like, oh, I can do this, this, and this. And it's all kid stuff because I'm a kid. So that's what I want to be doing. And that's what Vince does. Oh, I'm going to go throw kicks around a fucking park and put music to it.
That's something that's so alien to me because as a kid, I wanted to be an adult so bad.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be perceived as an adult. I wanted to look like an adult. And ironically, I have the height of a kid. So I'm at eye height with kids. So I still have to look up at everybody. But I remember like being 14 and putting like a John Coltrane poster in my room.
Oh god.
And like trying to get paintings and like just at a very young age knowing that
You're trying to have an apartment in your parents' house?
Yeah, basically. Like it's really stupid to have kid stuff and be into kid stuff. And I want to be an adult and be cool. So like I guess my ideal life would probably be about the same as it is now. Mm-hmm. It would be like I have a cool computer with 2 monitors and I have 100 different games on Steam, and also I can smoke weed all day, and also I have a wife.
Yeah, that's I joke a lot about that with my wife, where it's just like, yeah, if you told me at like 13, like, oh, my job is technically just playing video games and like talking to my friends, and I'm married to a beautiful woman, and we have sex regularly, and I just can buy whatever video games I want. Oh, damn! Holy shit!
It's so easy to make both things happen. Like you can be a functional adult and play video games or watch cartoons, and most people do it. Like most family men are not especially mature. Yeah, they're not like watching Shakespeare plays on TV. They're watching like Jackass because they're just dumb guys who like make a point to do a couple things to be responsible.
But like that's all you have to do.
There's adults slightly smarter than Vince that call themselves like, they'll be like, I'm never growing up. They like to make that point a lot. Like, I'm just a big kid. I'm never growing up. But they're usually like pretty responsible. They you know they get their shit done, but they love saying shit like that, and it's just like an excuse to kind of be a goof. Vince never acknowledges that. Vince is an adult, but he didn't grow up.
Have I talked on here about the guys whose house I went to that worked at Future Shop, where they had like...
What's Future Shop?
So Future Shop, it was Canadian Best Buy. I think they were owned by the same parent company. Their websites were identical and functioned identically. It was just a reskin. And then eventually they brought Best Buy to Canada, and we were like, oh shit, Best Buy, which is the literally exact same store. And then all the Future Shops died out. But like a buddy of mine, I was in grade 12, and he was like a couple years graduated, and I visited him in Prince George, actually. Oh, and he was working at Future Shop at the time. he was like, oh yeah, one of my coworkers, he's got this like really cool house. We're gonna like hang out there, have some beers, like come on over. And so I went there, and we go into the basement, and they had, I think in the main section of the basement, they had 4 or 5 different TVs with like the newest whatever sound system you could get. And then they also had a TV in the bathroom so you could keep watching the game if you were taking a shit. And then there was also like a 7th TV not facing the fucking couch in the basement, just in case you were like standing somewhere else and didn't want to miss any of the game. And then the walls were covered like AVGN style with like DVDs and video games. They had every console, basically every piece of tech that you could buy from Best Buy, they had in their house. And it was like 2 guys in their mid 40s that were like never married, no kids. And they all looked basically how you'd expect them to look, like ponytail, like fat guy, beer belly shit. Yeah. And the guy said something to me, which like has stayed with me. And it like really affected me as like a 17, 18-year-old, where he was like, yeah, you know, my married friends come over here and you get a couple hours to get away from the kids when you watch some football. And I mean, they're so envious of this. And I'm like, yeah, you could have had this too if you didn't have kids. Like, some people think it sucks not to be married or whatever, but man, it's awesome. Look at all of this. And at the time I was like, that's fucked up, man. I would not want to live your life at all. And like, maybe that's coping. Maybe they actually believed it, but
yeah. That's so Millhouse's dad.
Yeah.
Just a
race car bed.
It's all streaming now. So that stuff, like, if you're a physical media guy and you like physical media, then that's awesome. Good for you. But you can also watch all those movies without having Blu-rays and paying for them. Like, you can watch most of them on Amazon Prime or rent them for $4 or torrent all of it.
I just think, like, to a certain extent, having some of that stuff is cool. But, like, the trade-off is you are just so selfish. You only focus on yourself, and you never spend 1 second being like, well, you know, am I actually fulfilled, or do I just need to like keep buying things to like find?
You start asking questions like, who is this for? Because it is a performance that you're doing when you get all those games and all those movies. You're trying to show someone, but no one comes over to your house, and you don't have kids, and you don't have anyone there. And then usually the next step is saying, well, if I film this and put it on the internet, everyone on the internet will tell me how cool it is that I have all these games behind me.
r/male living spaces.
If no one tells you it's cool, then it's like, wait a minute, why did I spend all this money on something that isn't really bringing me that much joy at all? It's kind of just a bunch of shit. It's like $10,000 just sitting there on a shelf, and it's an eyesore.
They'll think it's cool. They definitely won't think that, sorry, I'm being distracted. This guy's almost hit somebody outside.
With his car or with his fists?
Yeah. No, he like
driving around.
He dropped someone off and then like floored it, not realizing they were going around the front of him, I think.
Damn.
Oh, God damn.
Like, you know, he just didn't let off he was just on the brake and didn't put it in park.
Yeah.
And they walked around the front of the car in the back, but I like looked up right when I was about to say something and saw the dude fucking jump out of the way of the car. I think it's just like an Uber too. Whoops.
Oh man, if that's an Uber, that's so funny. But also don't go in front of the car.
Yeah, don't ever
no one
go
got
in
hurt.
front of
It's
the car.
okay.
It's the opposite of a horse. You got to walk behind.
That's
That's
true.
right. Have you guys ever had your foot ran over by a car?
No.
Yeah, the day before my wedding, actually.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. I think we talked about that. I think we talked about this on the pod before, because I talked about working at the car wash. It just happened a lot, and you get used to it.
Yeah, we just got fitted, like did the final fitting for the tuxes, and I got back to my house. My friend was driving me, and I got out of the back seat, and like, as soon as I get out of the back seat and shut the door, he just like backs up and then just stops on my foot, and I was like, get off my foot! Ow. And he just like, then he was like, oh no, so sorry, and then backed up, and then but it was fine because I was like, I had my dress shoes on because like I had to like wear them in a little bit, and so they were just so thick that like didn't really affect my foot at all. But it's just like the day before my wedding, you're gonna run over my foot? God damn it!
If it's only your toes and you don't try to yank them out, they're usually just fine. You don't even, like, if you just feel the pressure, but it doesn't get crushed.
You just felt the pressure of just like your toes just being like squished by a tire.
If it goes anywhere up your foot at all, though, like that's so scary.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
I also had a guy once that was on top of my foot and trying to like get onto the car wash roller, so he like spun his wheel. So my leg was just like, nah. Got kicked out from behind him.
I think what I would do if I worked at the car wash is I would get Oscar Pistorius legs.
Mhm.
And then
Oh, yeah.
I would have them sharpened at the end so they were into a point. So that way, if someone runs over my foot, it instantly pops their tire.
Mm-hmm. That is
Yeah.
their fault.
And then they have to
too.
call a tow truck to get it out of the car wash lane.
Oh yeah, he got 10-year he got parole.
Yeah, he got let
November.
go.
Really? Recently,
Yeah.
or was this just like
November.
Very recently.
Some
Yeah.
evidence came to light about the way the woman was dressed.
come on?
Motherfucker.
I just don't think they cut. I think the fact they cut his legs off for doing that is like enough of punishment. He should have been let out of
Mhm.
prison years ago.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
learned to
what-
run again, which kind of showed them. Like they said, you're never going to run again. It was like Jaime on Game of Thrones, where they cut off his hand and said, "You'll never
Mhm.
fight with a sword again," and then he learned.
Not very
Mhm.
well though.
Yeah, not as well as he used to, but it's okay. He's rich.
Yeah, but he was left-handed. He just needed more practice.
That reminds me of that Aris, the Avoiding the Puddle, one of the best streamers on Twitch. He's that guy that has like the broken camera, so his room always looks green. He looks like Gimli, basically, the guy with the fucking beard and shit. But he's got that clip where he's watching someone play Dark Souls with their feet, and he's like, I was so impressed by this. I thought this was so cool, but then I found out she doesn't even have hands. Oh God, you can play Dark Souls with your feet. What else are you gonna do? So, like, he's like, that's not impressive. It'd be impressive if you had hands, but you were still using your feet. He's like, if I didn't have arms, I could do that. Anybody could do that. He's like, that's stupid. He just closes the clip. It's one of the funniest reactions to anything ever.
I guess that's kind of true.
It still goes viral over and over on TikTok, and people are like, who the fuck is this loser?
Like someone who's been in a wheelchair their whole life being like, I'm so good at using my wheelchair. Yeah, no shit.
It's a very Norm Macdonald constructed joke,
Yeah.
like style. That's something that he would get a tickle out of. RP.
I mean, I guess it's still impressive. Listen, it's still impressive to use your feet, but I guess it's true.
Yeah, like if you put a foot inside someone's ass instead of fucking
Yeah.
them, like if
Mhm.
you already have a dick, then it's like kind of cool that you're doing that because you could use your dick.
Mhm.
But if you don't have a dick and you're using your
Mhm.
foot, then that's kind of
Mhm.
cheating.
Well, whose ass are we talking about?
I don't know, probably a guy's.
Did you guys just see that
Ah.
speedrunner that was at the charity event? The Game's Done Quickly playing. He's doing a Super Mario 64 speedrun on the drum set.
No.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It was insane. That was actually one of the most impressive gaming things I've ever seen. Anyone that uses shit like that, when they use their voice to beat Dark Souls, that type of shit, beat Elden Ring with just their voice.
Mhm.
Yeah, any sort of input you can do. Like there was people use Jello, like electrodes in Jello. That was in.
Yeah.
Where did I see that? Maybe it was like a Minecon cringe compilation, like
That
one of the
sounds
last
so
ones.
Familiar. It sounds
Yeah, I
so
feel like
familiar.
they had like Minecraft that you could play by moving around Jello or something.
Wow.
It's cool. Yeah, the amount of inputs you could have.
And yeah, people playing Elden Ring on the Guitar Hero controller is always fun. There's the couple that streams together that plays like one of them plays the joystick, one plays the buttons, that type of thing, or one
Mhm.
plays left joystick, one plays right. Like that's crazy.
That's a strong
I would like-
relationship.
Doing like no hit runs with that type of shit.
Whew.
It's like
I would
conjoined twins.
enjoy finding out like one of those guys is playing like, oh, I'm gonna like no hit Dark Souls 2 on like the Dance Dance Revolution pad.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like halfway through, he's like practicing doing all that. And then he just gets one blowjob and then see if he continues.
Yeah.
See if he's like,
While he's playing?
actually, let me go back to that.
I feel
Not
like
to say at all.
while he's playing, that would sort of throw off the speed run.
Anytime.
I bet the Happy Hob gets his dick sucked pretty often. He's a handsome guy.
Yeah.
I think it would be really hard to complete a speed run of Dark Souls 2 without taking any damage on a DDR pad while getting your dick sucked. I think it would be hard to do that. And they
Most
should make
speedrunners-
someone do it on TV.
Well, if you're in sync with the person,
like that
either
guy who
you're-
came during the twerking contest. They should
I
do
don't
something
think he
like that,
came.
but it should be
I
like,
don't think
can
he
a guy
came.
play a game with DDR while getting his dick
First of
sucked?
all, let's say this, okay? If he came, then he had sex. And you know what? He had sex. So that's cool to come. Even though there's no penetration and there's just a lady bouncing on him. But I think that was just sweat.
I think he peed on himself in the bathroom, and they just noticed it after she got up.
Is it so wrong to have a little bit of squirt? To squirt a little bit?
Yeah.
It might have been pre
Are we shaming? Are we squirt shaming now?
No.
On this pod?
Never.
No.
I hope not. Good.
It'd probably be easier to play DDR while getting your dick sucked if you're using a controller.
Yeah,
you think?
I think it would be more it would be more of a challenge for the person sucking the dick,
Yeah.
trying to follow you around. Because they would have to kind of memorize the moves to know where on the pad you're going to be moving at specific times.
I'm laughing thinking about like asking your friend to play DDR and you just have 2 controllers and you're just pressing up, down, left, right.
That's so vlogs. You guys ever play the most? It was a really annoying kid thing to do. DDR kids would do it at school. They played Flash Revolution in the library on the keyboard.
Oh yeah,
those fuckers.
Yeah.
It was all the Dell keyboards that were there loud as fuck, and you said,
that's the most useless skill of all time.
it was really fun though. I was highly rated on that website for a long time.
Yeah, if you didn't have anything else to do, why not? It's a browser game.
I was ignoring responsibilities for it, probably.
I was ignoring my children.
There was a mobile version of Guitar Hero that you could download for free back in the day. This is before I even had a smartphone. I was doing it on my iPod Touch on my breaks at the gas station. And it was Guitar Hero. You just push the buttons on the screen. And for some reason, the only song I can remember playing is fucking Rock You Like a Hurricane. And there was one other, I forget what it was now.
Yeah, it was just Guitar Hero Mobile.
Yeah.
There's also Guitar Arena Hero Legend. Awesome.
I don't know why those fell off exactly.
They saturated the market. So they did Guitar Hero, then they did like the specific bands. They did like a Beatles one. They did like an Aerosmith one. I think Metallica. Then they did DJ Hero.
Who's buying a fucking Aerosmith game like that?
Yeah,
Come
that was
on,
a weird
of all
one.
the bands.
Like, Metallica, I get. The Beatles, I get. Like kids love the Beatles.
Yeah.
It's cross-generational, but Aerosmith.
And then they just started, and then Rock Band, of course, came out too. So they had competition because Rock Band had everything. And then like the DLC, honestly, I think a lot of the DLC stuff killed it because they would release the game and then release individual songs and they'd be like $1.99 on the Xbox Gold store, like equivalent, because I think it was just like points. And then they would do like big compilations of all the songs and it'd be so expensive, and they were just coming out with it every single year, and people were just like, I'm kind of done, like who cares?
Yeah, what's the point of buying Rock Band 5 if you can buy 100 new tracks? Like what good songs are going to be exclusive to that they wouldn't have put on the Xbox Live thing? And also, you're just sick of it by that point.
Aerosmith was really one of the worst choices they could have made for that, though.
Yeah.
Even for like teens that get into guitar, who the fuck learns Aerosmith songs? Like everyone learns
No way.
Zeppelin
Do Green
or
Day. Did they ever do Green Day?
anything else. This sounds like familiar, like they would have, but
I feel like Green Day would be big if they did like Green Day and Blink-182.
oh, I remember the first expansion they did was Guitar Hero Encore, Rocks the 80s.
Rocksteady.
To the 80s.
On the Aerosmith thing, like Alex probably would be able to. I don't know if I could just name 5 Aerosmith songs off the top of my head.
Oh no, I couldn't.
Dream On,
Dream
Crazy,
Walk This Way.
Crying, Walk This Way, and
Janie's Got a Gun.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not too hard.
What? Dude Looks Like a Lady. Dream On. The one from Armageddon. What's that one?
Don't Want to Miss a Thing.
Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I wouldn't have been able to remember Walk This Way. And what was the fifth one?
You know, Crying.
Sweet Emotion.
Oh yeah, Crying. So, Sweet Emotion. Yeah, that's another. Sweet Emotion's pretty good. That's not a whole game.
Guitar Hero 1 came out in 2005. 2 was 2006. Guitar Hero 5 was released in 2009. By that time, Guitar Hero 5, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was the 10th game for Guitar Hero.
Good God.
Then Van Halen came after that. Warriors of Rock was the last one until 2015. So yeah, within 5 years, they released 12 Guitar Hero games, not including the DJ Hero and shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's too much. Like, there's only so much incentive to buy a new game. I think they would have probably found more success by just doing the DLC shit. I know I said it like killed it earlier, but like because they expected you to buy a new game and then buy those same songs again on a new game. So like,
but that kind of
course
happened late into
it.
the process is the issue. Like it wasn't until like Rock Band 3 that you could buy the songs.
Yeah, exactly. And then they were like, oh, well, people are buying the song, so let's release the game. But I remember because it used to clog up the Xbox Live store so much. You'd go to like, oh, new content. and you'd click on it, and it was just like,
oh, Hinder Lips of an Angel,
a new Guitar Hero song. We're like, fuck, get the fuck out of here, man, because it would list it individually, and it used to just piss me off.
Hey, this Lost Prophet song's on sale.
It's like the Bill Cosby LPs at Goodwill. You always see Bill Cosby records.
I want to say Rock Band Beatles. It was Rock Band Beatles, not Guitar Hero Beatles.
Oh, good.
Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Sorry if
Guitar
you're
Hero
a
had that.
pedant who was about to reach out. Actually, you probably did. And then
Yeah,
you're
you already
like,
commented.
but you're like, now, like, fuck. Shit. I already commented. I'm going to delete it.
Green Day had Rock Band. Or Rock Band had Green Day. Yeah, that was 2010.
That's good.
AC/DC live Rock Band. AC/DC. Rock Band, yeah, came out in 2008. Because I remember the friend, quote unquote, whose house we would always go to. His parents are just insanely wealthy and like never around, but they would just leave him their credit card and he could just go buy whatever he wanted. So I was like, oh yeah, we'll hang out with them because we get Chipotle for free, and we occasionally just can drink beers there. And the one day we drove to his house and he was just like, hey, you guys, you want to go to Best Buy? And we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I didn't have any money. And he just walks up and he grabs Rock Band and another guitar and just goes to the checkout. And he's like, I got my dad's card. It's cool. And then he comes back home and his dad is actually home this time. And he just goes, hey, I bought Rock Band with your card. It's cool. And then just gives him his card back. And like, we just go to the basement and just keep playing games. And his parents were so nice too.
Those games really like are of a theme to me with Best Buy and those giant McMansions from 2007.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the Rock Band drum set. That's the perfect thing to have in the basement, a done over basement of a house you're about to get foreclosed on in 2009.
Yep. And it's also like those are the only people that would buy the whole set, not just like one thing at a time, or just the Guitar Hero.
Yeah,
and they would do it at Best Buy with the Best Buy credit card.
Of course.
Oh God.
That his house, like they had the dog at the house, and again they were just never home. And I remember one time walking into his house with my shoes on because I mean he was the one who lived there, so of course it wasn't like clean. And I walked down into the basement and I just stepped in a piece of dog shit in the basement. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, I forgot. And it was a big dog too. It was a big piece of dog shit. And I was like, what the fuck, man? How do you have dog poop down here?
I hate dog poop families where they have a dog where they just kind of give up on it and they only clean up the poop. Like they just let it run rampant in like the basement. I've known people like that before.
You just put litter down in the basement.
I've never known a dog poop family. Maybe it's a class thing.
Maybe it's not like you see the poop, but you smell it and you know it's there, but you don't know where it is.
It's behind the couch.
It's like, I guess it usually goes with the dirty kid house.
Again, this is the class thing is thrown out because he just lived there by himself and we were like 16, 17. His parents were obscenely wealthy. They bought a fucking house in Key West. And then when their neighbor's house went up for sale, they bought the neighbor's house in the Key West because they didn't want to have any neighbors. So
Jesus
they owned two
Christ.
houses. Yeah, exactly. they were insanely wealthy.
It's already the southernmost point of the United States. It's like as far out as you can get.
So like, but again, they just were never there. So that was where we drank because it was just easy to. But but again, they're super nice. The one time was so funny. His dad came home, and I might have already told this story. His dad came home, we were all over, and he was like, hey guys, like I brought you pizza. Like was surprised you with pizza. And we were like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And his son opens the box. He's like, cheese pizza? God damn it, I wanted pepperoni.
Dad, you're such a fucking pussy. Why don't you just fucking die?
For the pizza that he gave us without like any notice.
Yeah, I feel like what happens is like the dad cheats on the mom and then gets her a purebred German Shepherd that she always wanted, and then it just poops on the floor.
I always hated when kids were really mean to their parents in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was just
brutal.
uncomfortable.
White people shit.
I don't really care if people talk shit about their parents because if they're talking shit behind their parents' back, the parent probably sucks at some point anyway. But if you're that mean to your dad, there's no way you ever get smacked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're just a dick.
Yeah, it means they're too nice.
Yeah, if you are that mean to one of your parents, you do not get in trouble.
Yeah,
because goddamn.
Yeah, and they're probably very, very nice.
Yeah, and they're just like, well, it's okay, honey,
like
it's okay. I'm sorry.
Eggshells.
Around you because you just have a temper tantrum.
Yeah, especially if you're in an eggshell house. where they just throw eggs at the ground and there are eggshells everywhere.
Bro, I had friends. Did you guys ever have the friends where the parents would kind of like disappear, even though they were still in the same house? They'd just disappear at a certain point in the night and like just be quiet. It's so weird. Usually, my one friend, he's the only child and he had older parents, and I swear they would just disappear into thin air. Like you wouldn't see him again. It was basically like we were home alone, but we weren't.
Yeah, they go to their separate rooms.
Yeah.
What's always a really good time was if you go to a friend's house and their parents get into an argument.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why do we always have this stupid fucking kid over for dinner? I hate him. We all hate him.
We all hate that. Yeah, you're around the corner like this fucking moron's back over. He never leaves. You're like, oh, okay, dang it.
Does he even know he was
like chocolate
adopted?
ice cream smile?
Why is this fat pussy back? You can hear it like under the gutter.
We're gonna go broke with him eating all our fucking food.
Dang it, I am a fat pussy.
That's something I think about a lot now that I'm a parent too, is just like when my daughter and any other future kids that we do have start growing up, and then like, damn, I'm gonna like meet some of their friends and just be like, God damn, I fucking hate this kid. And you can't hate a kid because they're just a kid, but sometimes kids are just dickheads.
You can kind of get the sense from your parents when they don't like somebody.
Oh,
like
100%.
you can clearly tell when they're like around some of your relatives and they're like, oh, we're going to their house. Isn't that great? Oh, that's so awesome.
I had friends where I was not allowed to spend the night at their home.
Yeah, probably good.
It was just like, yeah, it was good. Because the one friend that I finally did, we just lit things on fire. So
yeah,
like,
at the time you don't know. It's like their parents are divorced and one parent's gone and one's never there, and it's like a mom who's just smoking all day with her new boyfriend, and you're like, oh, this is so awesome. We got pizza and he has an N64 and we can do whatever we want. And then your parents are like, Oh, I remember that kid's dad. He was in the newspaper for domestic abuse a few years ago.
I remember being in a situation like that. Another friend of mine that was the only child, and he had his dad married his stepmom when he was like a little kid, and we were like around 10. And his dad had left, just like disappeared like 3 years before that. So he was stuck with his stepmom. So it wasn't even his real mom, and he lived with her, and it was his kid now. And I remember going to the fireworks with this kid, his stepmom, and her boyfriend, but her boyfriend was like the coolest surfer guy type ever. And I remember at the end of the day, I was like, man, that guy's awesome. And like asking like what his name was again. The kid's like, I don't know. Well, all right. So funny. I think we kept calling him Dan and Dale, like interchanged. Didn't remember it.
But yeah, it's funny you mentioned like the parents that fight all the time, just because like every friend that I had growing up whose parents like fought all the time, once I got to high school, all those parents just got divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just threw away like all pretense of just being like, okay. It's like, all right, wait till they're 18, and then they get to high school and it's like, we're fucking done. We're over with. And then my mom would be like, oh, they got divorced. And I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. I don't give a fuck. And then when I become an adult and I actually critically think about it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember I never saw them like even look at each other in the eyes. Right.
Yeah, it's weird when people just clearly hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why'd you guys get a house?
For the kids.
Yeah, they stay together for the kids, and they're just screaming and throwing shit all the time.
Nice.
We're doing this for the fucking kids. What?
Stay together for the kids on the Blink-182 episode. Very cool of you to do that.
Yeah,
oh wow!
Keep bringing it back to Blink-182.
Oh, it is the Blink-182 episode. I didn't even think about that. Damn, should have had Josiah on.
Should have.
Yeah, or Travis or Mark or.
Too bad. Fuck you,
Tom.
Josiah.
Just name.
We do have
Travis,
Tom
Mark,
on.
Luke, and John.
True.
I mean, technically, you do have a Tom.
Yep.
I'm right here.
That's right.
We'll call you Tom DeShort. Just kidding. You're pretty tall.
Tom DeLonge still hasn't found the aliens. He's talking about the aliens. Where are the aliens?
I mean, they're coming around soon, right?
No, I want to see them. Show me an alien.
No, there's those ones from Mexico.
No, that's the Chupacabra. And I spoke to the Chupacabra, and he spoke perfect English.
Yeah,
he doesn't speak a word of Spanish.
He's very confused as how that came about.
I call your mom the Chupacabra, the goat sucker.
The goat sucker.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That's what it means.
Why? I mean, who was sucking those goats that they had to blame a Chupacabra?
Yeah, what happened to those goats? Was it a bat? Maybe it was a bat.
It was a Dracula.
We lived in Texas, so the Chupacabra was like talked about a lot, and just one of those things where kids would bring it up. Kids love bringing up cryptids once they start learning about them, of course. Mm-hmm. And I remember being terrified, hearing like coyotes and shit at night. but being like, as long as I can hear the coyotes, it's
Nodding.
not a chupacabra, which, you know, I don't know what the fuck it would sound like.
Those are my two biggest fears as a kid.
What's that? Coyotes?
No, getting abducted by aliens and ghosts. Never had any brushes in with them, but man, I was like, if this ever fucking happens, I'm gonna be so scared.
I used to live under a radio tower when we lived in Texas in Lubbock. And I mean, if you ever seen Lubbock, Texas, it's just a flat dust bowl and you could see forever. And this tower was kind of on the edge of base, but so were we. And the blinking red light was like right over my window at night, but like 400 feet up. And I would just stare at that while I was falling asleep and imagine it was something coming to get me.
Oh man!
Mostly it's probably just giving me like radiation.
When I was
me radio powers.
When I was like 3 or 4 years old, it's one of my earliest memories. Is I was told that fucking like Santa knows when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake or whatever. So I thought if I like slept on my one side where I could see out my window, I would like see fucking Santa peeking in at me and it would be scary.
Oh, God.
And so I like refused to sleep on like whatever side it was that was facing the window because I was afraid of getting spooked by Santa.
So funny.
You're like in the middle of summer, goddammit. It's not fair.
It does kind of scare kids. It's the same thing as Elf on the Shelf. It's like teaching kids that there should be a camera watching you all the time, and he always knows what you're doing. That's weird.
Did you guys ever watch like an action movie or something as a kid, or just something containing a sniper in it, and then having a sniper fear later, like where you didn't want to be near a window?
Yeah, I never wanted to go to Iraq and join the insurgency.
Well, I guess when the Washington shit was popping off, you're like, oh damn, it could happen to you.
I don't want to go to Washington,
Northern
DC.
British Columbia.
That is true. Like that was a crazy thing because it was just people pumping gas, getting fucking their head exploded.
List of places I never want to work: Washington D.C., Oklahoma City State Building, World Trade Center Building 1.
Waco.
No gas stations on the way to Washington D.C. from Maryland at all.
Yeah,
along the Beltway. No, thank you.
Ruby Ridge. I don't want to live in Ruby Ridge.
It's so nice that like all those shootings just happened in the past. Like, you know, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
That's long. We figured that out.
It's already such a throwback. Ooh, speaking of throwback,
such a nostalgia of 2000 shootings.
I meant to mention when I mentioned coyotes a minute ago, this week, Las Vegas put out a notice to their people about staying away at Lake Las Vegas, staying away from coyotes because they've been biting people.
Damn.
Apparently tourists approach them thinking they're dogs or something, then get bit up, which is hilarious.
Why would they be dogs?
Well,
I mean,
dogs.
people are fucking stupid.
I mean, they are dogs, but would they be strays?
What I imagine is it's drunk motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
it's 100% drunk.
It looks like a
just walking up. Be like, "Oh, it's a dog. Let me go see that dog.
Oh, it's a big dog. It's a big husky." Because like there shouldn't be like packs of wild dogs around like it's Istanbul.
One of the Howard Stern archivists remade his account because Howard Stern loves to just get YouTube accounts taken down all the time. He has a team to do it. And there's this one guy who also he's one of the guys that sells the 2 terabyte external hard drive full of Howard Stern episodes from 1980 to 2019, which is awesome. He's like, this is my personal collection I've collected from many sources over the years. I've edited a lot of them, but some of them have the original commercials in. And I found that hard drive posted somewhere else, so now I just know where all the episodes are, which is sweet.
Yeah.
I listened to the week after 9/11 this week because I love listening to that era because everyone was so fucking unhinged. First of all, this is September 15, 2001, and Howard couldn't say Osama bin Laden. Like, it's so weird to think there was a time where that wasn't like a household name. He kept saying Osada bin Laden or whatever his name is. Fuck that guy. And also it was what is it, Alex? 105.7, Boston's alt station. That because there was Opie and Anthony 2001 ads on there for their show, and oh my god, there was like rape threats in the ads for the show. It'd be like, don't even come and listen or we'll fucking rape you, like stuff like that, like the radio voice. Like, holy fuck, this sounds like parody. And
that's a crazy time.
Yeah, but also the throwback I was getting to through all of this was one of the ads that was playing was for the Weezer tour that was coming through the Tweeter Center in Mansfield.
Ooh.
And you know who opened for them on that tour was Cold.
Oh wow!
Remember what I said?
Oh yeah,
Cold's
Stupid
album
Girl.
that came out. Yeah, Stupid Girl came out 2 years after that, and that their hit single that blew them up, Stupid Girl, was written by Rivers Cuomo. I like to tell people that fact because it sounds like a band covering Weezer when you listen to the lyrics of that song. Wanna love you, wanna bug you, wanna squeeze you, stupid girl. Like it's straight up Rivers Cuomo wrote.
It sounds like a Green Album song.
I bet he was singing that on that tour, and the cold guy was like, "Hey, that's dope." He's like, "Oh, you can." Well, because
that would have been the Green Album era too, right?
Yeah,
yeah. That was when they got really into very stupid songs.
I like the Green Album because it's
good, it's fun,
listen.
But it's all it's like nursery rhymes.
Yeah, it is. But it's like a nice little easy listening when you have like 30 minutes to kill.
Yeah, it's like, exactly 30 minutes long.
Yeah,
the bare minimum.
God.
I remember playing it. I didn't realize it as a kid, and then when we would take drives from Akron to Orlando to visit my wife's family, we would just like play a whole bunch of music. And I remember like, oh, like you haven't listened to it. Like, oh, we should listen to some Weezer. She's like, yeah, like I used to like Weezer, but I haven't listened to it in so many, like since like the Blue album. I was like, oh yeah, like I used to love the Green Album growing up as a kid. And like I'd play it and then it would just be 30 minutes. And I was like, well, I gotta find something else. All right, long trip.
One of the few from that time too, because that was the time when like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and Tool, they would do exactly 80 minutes. It would be up until up until the CD runs out.
It was called that was called the Midget Tour, by the way, and that was they extended it because it was so successful. It was the extended Midget Tour, and the opening act was a band called The Start, all one word. Anyway, that set list, first song they played was Island in the Sun, then In the Garage, Crab, Knockdown, Drag Out, Solo, Photograph, Tired of Sex, My Name is Jonas, Do You Want Me to Stay, Smile, We Go Together, The Sweater Song, Don't Let Go, Say It Ain't So, Hashpipe, Only in Dreams, then encore with Buddy Holly. Pretty solid.
Yeah, my mom and my sister went to that.
That should be their set now.
I saw them like 5 years after that. So it was all of those songs. And then like, what was it? The fucking
Keep Fishing. Dope Nose, the one where they fuck Miss
Beverly
Piggy.
Hills. That had just come out when I saw them.
Oh yeah, that was the first Weezer song I heard.
Beverly Hills.
They should make a new album.
They probably did. They put out about 3 albums a year, and people don't even. I remember it used to be a whole cycle. Like when the Red album came out, or the one after that, it would be like 3 years, and everyone would talk on forums like, "Is this going to be the first good one since the Green album? Is this is going to be really good, right?"
Bro, you sound like every Tool fan since like 2006 or whatever.
Yeah, same with them, but they never put shit out.
This next one's gonna fuck your face.
I remember going online and seeing people hate the Green album.
Tool fans were the most, I think, to like hype it up and be like, "This is gonna be mine. This be the craziest fucking shit."
Yeah, and then they hate it, and then 10 years later they love it.
I remember going to the when the Damn Things played and like I went there, and Tool was supposed to like headline, but it got like rained out because there's huge winds came through and it kind of destroyed the stage. Yeah. And I just walking through, I was like, yeah, these are Tool fans. These are just every single person here looks exactly what I imagined. Like die-hard Tool.
One thing about Tool though is they got so rich off merch alone. You see Tool merch everywhere, everywhere, and they use good companies because that shit always clinging to someone's frame. So old it looks like sheer.
There's something I've noticed, like every metal show that I go to, is that just kind of to the periphery of the pit, there'll be a very clean-cut guy that looks not like a metalhead, but like just a normal average Joe wearing a like barely worn Tool t-shirt, and it was when we saw Mastodon and Opeth, I think, and we met up with some friends there, and there was this one gal, she was like a big metal fan, but had never been to like a metal show before, and this was like her first one. And I'm like, oh, watch out when you're out there. There's going to be a guy in a Tool shirt by the periphery of the pit. And then after the show, she's like, oh my God, did you see him before? I'm like, no, it just always happens.
So funny.
That's what to watch out for.
Yeah, well, and the other thing, there's usually like
everything else is fine.
There's usually like a heavy set guy with a tucked in Dream Theater shirt standing near the back who's like in his late 40s.
If your computer breaks, you got to ask that guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love standing behind really stinky people.
Oh God, it's the best.
Yeah, I want to have those guys sit on my face.
When I saw Neurosis and Converge, the Neurosis fans are like the stinkiest old heads.
I don't know. Lots of the time, those guys,
halitosis.
Their hair smells like Pantene. You know, like it's like really well conditioned and shit, and they just like whip it in your face. Like, oh, that's kind of not nice, but like not bad.
Didn't the Neurosis guy get canceled for
Yeah, he
imprisoning his
did.
family or something?
Yeah, he was like really abusive to his whole family, and the band's like, "All right, we're done."
All right, guys. Hey, audience, listen up. Don't do that.
Nope.
It's the only way to do.
I'm taking a fucking stand here. Don't do.
Yeah.
Don't imprison your family.
Or
even if you think you're doing
it's
a
good
good
it wasn't
thing.
someone else's family.
Yeah,
like
I guess
Viper.
if you want to take a silver lining.
Yeah, like Viper, it was some random person.
Viper took liberties on someone else's family with that.
You know, if that had been
guess what?
his family, it
Don't
would've
do
been
that
fine.
either.
I hope
I'm saying
that
right now,
gangster
don't.
thug enjoys prison. Saying like Skip Bayless.
He's gonna have a different kind of footlong.
Skip Bayless throwing away his Viper jersey.
Fuck. Marching over to the trash can on Twitter and throwing away his Viper vinyl.
That was so weird. There were people who actually bought all of his records and shit, and they had to throw out their
You're not supposed to
collection.
do that. You're supposed to save the JPEG of the cover and post it, dummy.
What are you talking about? Viper was your top played artist last year.
That's
the fuck?
insane to me.
That's
what is
really
wrong
insane.
with you?
I would
Yeah.
Like,
And that's Tom saying that his top played artist was Angel Mommy.
no, I've
was
been
Music
very
Man.
normal. It's
I want
that
to
could
party.
be.
I wanna.
It
wanna
was
party.
2020 was Black Eyed Peas by like a lot. I spent, I would say, 3.5 months, right up until like COVID, maybe 4 months, where I would listen to the Black Eyed Peas like exclusively just all day long, and just like training my brain to listen. What is the album In the End? That is the best album in the world.
Why?
Oh, because it was
good.
funny.
Well, it's got a feel. It's got I've got a feeling.
Because I've got a feeling. I got
Yeah.
retarded.
The Time Dirty bit is on there.
So I would just listen to it nonstop because it was
Dirty
just
bit.
very funny to me. And it was also funny to be like, yeah, what if I just made Black Eyed Peas, I Got a Feeling, my #1 song by like 1,000%. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be in the 0.0001% of listeners, but I was only in like the 0.01%.
Damn.
Damn. It goes even less than that.
Back when like 2010, when I had friends where we used like Last FM more than any other social media, basically. Like we cared, but we'd talk about music and stuff. I remember when I'd go to work for all of like 2010, I would put on Firework by Katy Perry and just leave it on repeat. So by the end of the year, I had like 26,000 plays, and people would link my profile to other people and be like, "Look at this fucking loser." And I thought that was a good bit, so I loved it.
Yeah,
That was a good
That's
bit.
because it sort of is partially inspired by one of my cousin's old roommates who played that CeeLo Green song. What was it like?
Fuck You.
Yeah, fuck you. Like he played it like on his iTunes. He had it in like 2,000 times.
He also got canceled
because he went through.
Yeah.
He did a lot of bad shit.
Yeah, for saying swears.
He went through. Yeah.
and drugging a woman with ecstasy.
Yeah,
That
swears
too.
and rape.
Grape,
Don't do
please.
those.
Grape.
But
He graped a
grape.
woman, but fortunately didn't
God damn it.
unalive her.
No.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it. Why?
Well, I'm being politically correct.
I know you are. I'm not.
That's the
yelling
official
at
way
you.
to refer to this stuff.
I know. No one's gonna cancel you. You're not their gym membership, dude. Did you like
That's
that?
right.
Wait,
oh,
what
yeah.
was that?
What?
Then you're not their gym membership?
Matt
Dude,
Rife.
you can't. No, it's mine. Oh, excuse me.
It's that guy who
Tom
got like the
Rife.
Squidward
Excuse me.
jaw.
I wrote it. Tom Rife wrote it.
Oh,
Tom
yeah,
Rife.
that the
I
sexy
gave
comedian.
it to my big bro. Yeah. So his big joke is like, "You can't cancel me. I'm not your gym membership." And then everybody
Yep.
laughs.
Hmm.
And I've heard that clip thanks to Drew no less than 2,000 times in the
Who
last
loves him
couple
though? I
months.
don't get it.
Well, he's a handsome man. Who doesn't love Matt Rife? But
It's
now
weird
he's
he
being
had all that
canceled.
plastic surgery and he wants to talk like a black guy, but he didn't have plastic surgery to become a black guy.
Yep, he doesn't want it enough.
Yeah, he doesn't-
Funny
he's
thing about Matt
half-assed.
Rife, I've seen people that are like LA comedians bitching about how much they hate that guy on their
Mhm.
like close friends Instagram stories for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I've known who that guy was forever. Because people would be, it was just so funny. No, a lot of people didn't like him for a long time before any of this stuff.
Yeah, he's just like, seems like a big dickhead.
Yeah, I don't know who
No,
finds that guy funny.
Well, I'll
It's-
tell you who.
it's-
The same people that would fucking come in their pants laughing at Anthony Jeselnik's fucking like 9/11 type jokes.
Does he still tweet like that?
I hope. Remember that
I
though?
think he probably
Yeah.
does.
Remember when he used to be like, he used to make the most like offensive jokes, but it was like the dumb. It reminded me of the scene from Dumb and Dumber where Lloyd's fantasizing while he's driving and he's like being the funny man and throwing nuts in his face and stuff, and like just like everyone's just laughing at whatever he does. That's how that motherfucker would act when like a disaster would happen.
Yeah, his Twitter's just all promoting stand-up shows now. Unfortunately,
He's the type of guy that used to tweet about like Christina Grimmie type stuff when that would happen.
yeah. Well, I bet if I googled Anthony Jeselnik best tweets,
You'd
we'll
find
get something.
Article by Rob Fee.
It's just a lot of that stuff is just so 2010,
Late.
11. Yeah.
There's a little reference
Thank
to
you.
the.
I got it. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I got it.
I don't know if you could get fired for something on Twitter anymore.
No, not really. I mean, you could. I mean, well,
You could technically. There are ways you could do it, but
him just being like, "Oh, a bunch of people died in a shooting."
Good.
I don't have it. Yeah,
like Gilbert getting fired as the Aflac duck for making jokes about the Fukushima nuclear disaster. I forget what it even was.
It's so funny. Oh.
okay.
man.
Here's a good Anthony Jeselnik joke. The problem with having sex with old people is that halfway through it sometimes turns into necrophilia. Hashtag Jeselnik.
Woo!
Um,
Yeah, I would RT that shit with no fucks given.
got to copyright.
Yeah, that's
that
pretty
one.
crazy.
But also, like, yeah, it just doesn't.
It's just not that funny. You have to say it about Nate and Marion.
Yeah,
That he pulls out her skeleton like a fish. He debones her by his penis ring getting hooked on her uterus.
Here's a Nate grandma joke. What's the best thing about 170-year-olds?
They're dead.
There's 70 of them.
Yeah. Wait.
What's the best thing about dating 75-year-olds? They're fucking dry as shit.
They're fucking old pussy.
They're old and they get social security checks.
Hashtag Jeselnik.
It's like a cat tongue.
Ew.
Nate Jeselnik.
It's like two cat tongues.
That's the Nate Jeselnik joke. It's the greatest thing about dating a 75. What's the greatest about dating 75-year-olds? They're cat tongue pussies.
God damn it.
You can't cancel me. I'm not your gym membership.
Oh, get him.
You can't
Get
cancel
'em.
me. I'm not your Netflix physical disc delivery.
Okay,
Dude.
That's for Nate.
here's another Jeselnik. R.I.P.
Okay.
Paul Walker. The brightest candles burn up in cars.
Woo!
Should have called him Paul Driver.
Yeah. Should have called him
Could've
Sit Burner.
Yeah. Should have called him Paul Incinerated.
Hashtag Jeselnik.
I like the hashtag Jeselnik.
Yeah, that's
Just got Jeselnik.
Jeselnik's really cool.
I'm gonna keep saying that whenever I say fucked up shit all week.
Okay, this one is kind of an Alex tweet. I spent all night feeding the homeless to dogs.
I get it.
If you're really
Yeah.
being edgy, I guess I spent all night feeding bubblegum to dogs.
No, Alex's would be spent all night feeding dog poop to dogs.
Dog poop
They
to
don't even know it's
myself.
their own poop.
Feeding bubblegums and dog poop to dogs is funnier than feeding.
There are a bunch of videos
feeding
of cats
people to
eating
dogs.
bubblegum and then it blows a bubble out of their butt. It's not even fake. It actually happens. Yeah.
That's
It just blows a
disgusting.
bubble out of their butt.
Chet's got to hear about this. This is one of those moments where Chet would finally say something and go, "What?" And then all of a sudden look over and start typing on his other monitor.
And I bet it would taste really good.
Well,
Out of the butt?
Yeah.
we need to do a PSA
come
though. I was looking it up after we watched the video and on Alex's timeline. You shouldn't feed gum to dogs, especially if it has xylitol in it, because it can be incredibly poisonous. And like 2 pieces of sugar-free gum can kill a small dog.
That's why Alex feeds dogs. Bubble.
However,
No, it's only like Double Bubble, Big League Chew,
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah, Hubba Bubba.
Juicy fruit.
Gonna
my
move
dog
you.
loves great big league chew.
The was there any
Depends
other
on my
point to
dog
that? Not really.
My dog
no.
loves Zins.
Yeah.
Sometimes I take my Zins out of my foreskin and then put them in my dog's lip, just so he can have some.
Is that
my foreskin?
store?
Zins.
you store it in the foreskin, or is it just are you getting like a high from it?
I'm getting a high
Like a
from
buzz,
it. It's
okay.
absorbing into the mucous membranes, and I do have a lot of rashes down there now. But it's nice to have my mouth freed up to chew bubble gum.
Zin can be the new annoying thing that like people make the personality, and I'm thinking about changing my display name to like Bill Clinton.
Oh, that's
something
really
really
good,
shitty
man.
and keep it forever.
Shitty, that's good. Well, you got to keep the same picture and the same name, so everyone knows who you are. And then when you get banned, they can all follow you.
Bro,
like,
if I change my profile pic, my tweets will do ass. I can't.
People will block me because they think I'm an ad.
They think I'm a bot.
Yeah,
if I change my profile pic, people see my tweet and say, "What the fuck is this dumb fuck saying?"
I think once every couple of weeks, someone DMs me, be like, "Oh, sorry, I blocked you because I thought you were a bot."
What the fuck? Who does that?
Oh, sorry, I blocked you. I hate squirters.
Well, because I'll like copy and paste like bot tweets and just tweet those for a while, and people it pops up in their timeline and they get so frustrated they just auto block. It's the same.
I want to find out how to attach all the fucking crypto things. They're like, "Hey, did you see this app everyone's talking about?" And another one responds and says, "Yeah, it's on my page." I want to know how I can attach that to like mock.
I've been enjoying replying to people with the new bot thing where it's like nudes in bio.
Oh yeah, that's
spicy website or whatever with the
like the blocks in between the letters. Yeah, that's really funny to me. Just like to any random tweet, like just replying to Patrick with that, just to clog up his notifications. I enjoy doing that. But yeah, I get blocked a lot. Hey, what are you gonna do, right? No big deal.
Those people should probably just not be on Twitter. Because at this point, if you're on Twitter, it's like to enjoy the downfall. You're just watching a car accident. So being the person that's like, oh, I gotta block this person and this person and this person, and they're just blocking 99% of their timeline. Like, just look at a different website.
Yeah. Let it wave over you.
You know the talk of the town yesterday, the Oklahoma legislature to make porn a felony and sexting outside marriage illegal. Everyone making their jokes / actual statements off of it. Man, if you want to just fucking look at some motherfucking the freaks of X, the absolute fucking freaks, just look at all the replies and quote tweets on like the New York Post thing of all the people going based.
God, dude, I can't look at that.
the one guy, hold on, I gotta find the one that I posted from earlier.
Those guys are the porn addicts. It's always like the people who care on either end.
He's going to be the one first to jail because
it's so annoying. All those guys like AR-15, they're like, yeah, I was a porn addict until 3 hours ago, but it's time for me to lecture you.
This guy, American Glitch 85803. Sexting inside marriage is fine. Also, the porn ban would only work. This is such an AR-15 tweet. Also, the porn ban would only work if he also works to structure his state so it's easier for young men and young women to meet in respectable social settings and marry and afford a life together.
That's true.
Oh my fucking God.
That's a good fucking point, dude.
Well, that's not really the problem for most of these guys, as we've talked about.
No, they're literally looking for their government appointed girlfriend right now.
They need a level 1 girlfriend.
You're like, I refuse to get a new shirt. I'm not going to get a new shirt. I'm not showering, not going to put on deodorant.
Why can't I find a girl that likes me for what I smell like?
Why can't she like my t-shirt?
I smell like me.
This is me.
Sorry you don't like Dollar General.
Ugh.
Man,
that's like when those big stinky guys are like, I think I have a fart fetish. No, you just stink.
Yeah, that's just what you smell all the time.
You're looking at porn and you smell shit around you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's true that anytime you beat off, you are smelling farts.
But like, I can't look at those guys for too long because then I won't enjoy my time on Twitter. And my whole thing is, if you are not enjoying your time on Twitter, then fucking leave. Quit crying
go to
about
a website that's cool.
Go somewhere else where you like.
No, those guys don't upset me because I wish the worst for them. I just think
I know, but like that's why I can't physically strangle them through my phone, so it upsets me.
You got to remind yourself that like those guys are miserable, and there's a whole cottage industry to try to scam them, to tell them that like you're gonna get a cool farm someday and have a Chad face kid, and you're gonna have a cool farm girlfriend with the sundress. And they're all just, it's a million mock techs sitting in their basement jacking off in a pile of filth, being like, yeah, God's going to give me a girlfriend and a bunch of houses and stuff.
Prayers.
Using their dirty clothes as their PC chair.
Yeah. Just sitting on a pile of trash.
That's still one of my favorite insults and trying to tell people, you're using your dirty clothes as your chair right now. They're like, oh, fuck you. Such a funny insult.
I'm sitting on a pile of McDonald's DoorDash bags. They're all compressed down. It's like a beanbag.
Yeah, it's just recycling. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, look how long my receipt from CVS is. It's from DoorDash. That's a joke these days on Twitter. Shit.
Hell. On Twitter, you mean
check
X.
out X.
Yeah,
check out
X, everybody.
porn. Check out sexting inside of marriage.
Only inside of the marriage.
Check out futureshop.ca.
As it says in the Bible.
Yep. As it says in the Bible.
Yeah.
Thou
Check out
shalt
Best
only
Buy, check
text
out Rock Band,
9
Aerosmith.
Oh, check out our Patreon for weekly bonus episodes.
Yes,
Only
sir.
$3
Yes, sir. Weekly
Getting
bonus
a
episodes,
little nasty
videos, and then also food reviews are making a return.
Ooh.
And somebody will be making some gross ass carnivore meat.
Let's
on
go.
there as well.
You should make the beef heart waffle from the Patreon
No,
request
I'm
video.
not.
Not
No,
that
I'm doing
one.
the bottom half shower chef. I'm doing the fucking ground chicken biscuit.
Beef heart
and then I'm
waffle
gonna
looks
bite
so
it
gross.
And then throw. I'm not buying a beef heart. I'm just not.
No.
I can get one, but I don't want to.
I'll buy some Captain Beef Heart.
At least with the ground chicken, I can just only use a little bit, make one biscuit, take a bite, throw it away, and then use the rest of the ground chicken for something nice and pleasant.
You should finish the biscuit. That's wasteful.
I'm gonna finish on it.
No. All right.
We love
Thank you for
you.
listening,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.